and welcome to the Fireside Chat on role of data management in driving innovations and improving customer experience at CXO Data Intelligence Summit and Awards 2022. As we all know that digitization has changed the dynamics of business forever. Fundamental changes in consumer behavior and growing shift to online channels during COVID accelerated digital transformation to the point where companies that have been able to acclimatize have struggled to survive. So this fireside chat takes an interesting recourse on how can great customer experience strategies to be shaped and data-driven innovations flourished. For this, we have a renowned technology leader, Mr. Ashish Mathur, Group CIO at ECU Worldwide and AllCargo Group Company with us. A very warm welcome to you, Ashish.
Thank you very much, Kalpana. Good talking to you again.
Yeah, pleasure is ours. So, Ashish, like with ever-growing consumer demands and new startups popping up, and then the constant push to innovate have kept the logistics sector on its toes than ever. So, what are the top changes you are seeing in the sector over the last couple of years?
Good question. I think there's been a lot of change in the last few years, especially with regards to digitalization and tech investments in the logistics space. I think one important aspect is the awareness or the importance of tech has gone up tremendously, both in the service providers as well as for the consumers. So there's a lot more expectation. The bar is really high. And the second good thing related to that is a lot of big players, big and small, are now investing in tech, basically driving towards better visibility, better, faster speed of execution. So this entire digitalization is based on the theme of how quickly can you provide the service to your end customer, whether it's B2B or B2C. So the end-to-end service is no more siloed, and the investments are helping towards making this a lot better to the customer experience. And I always like to use my 4S model as investments to make the technology and services more secure, smart, using analytics, speed, of course, speed of delivery, speed of service, speed of right from quote to delivery and to track and trace, and the fourth one being scalability or scalability. Right. So those are the 4S. I think a lot of companies are investing in today to bring or to take use the cutting edge technology to take logistics to its next level of customer experience.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. But despite the challenges the pandemic has placed the sector on higher grounds and is expected to scale even further, what are the reasons the logistics sector has been able to resist the disruption due to the pandemic, and what are the innovations that kept the sector afloat?
I think, Kalpana, the pandemic only fast-tracked, in my opinion, the digitalization. Right. So there was demand. The demand is forever going to increase. It is increasing. Maybe the purchase pattern and the consumer behavior has changed because of the pandemic. There's now a lot more online, as we all know, with e-commerce, with last mile delivery, whether it's this food or the Amazon delivery at home. So things have changed a lot from a consumer experience, especially in the retail and B2C space. B2B, of course, has also, there's a lot more demand and for faster access and for speed, etc. So I think the innovation has been the key driver, and it is only those who have innovated have actually survived or will survive and thrive. And if you don't change, if you don't adapt, it's very difficult to sustain in this competitive market. And innovation has been predominantly for us, for a company like us. We have done a lot of innovation, a lot of investment, and typical examples that come to mind is the speed to quote, the quote for a service, and the speed to deliver, right? That itself is the biggest change that you'll start to see in terms of driving what people want to see and the consumers want to see, both from and post-pandemic, it's just exponentially more important and growing at a faster pace than ever.
Yeah. So as you rightly said that with quick commerce and deliver on demand expected to be the game changer in the logistics sector, experts believe that technology adoption will be far more crucial for companies to build capabilities that will help them sustain themselves in the fast-pacing world of tomorrow. So what is the level of technology adoption you see in this sector?
See, the technology adoption has to grow. There is, like I said in my previous question, if you don't adopt, you don't survive. leave alone thriving and flourishing. It's the technology adoption is now uh, absolutely a given. It's a must. It's become hygiene. It's no more a fancy thing. And if you don't, if you have to survive, you have to have a tech-driven uh, service. Otherwise, it's very difficult to compete in today's day and age. And therefore, the role of tech and the is going to forever change. Now it's no more a support function as we all used to call it many years ago. It's an enabling function. It's a boardroom conversation, right? So tech has become a and it's been not just this year. It's been several years now that it's been at a very significant. It has been given a lot of significance and importance, and rightly so. Otherwise, the companies don't survive. So adoption has to be there. There are no two ways about it. The faster the people adopt, the faster they bring in the new change, the better they will be prepared to serve the customers for the future. Otherwise, it is going to become difficult. And old school, if you're not automated, if you're not digitalized, if you're not looking at things like IoT services, if you're not looking at data analytics, if you're not looking at automation, very difficult to compete by the level of service that is expected today from the consumer.
Yeah, sure. So, what kind of level of technology adoption? I mean, in a sense, I was trying to understand that. What do you think that the adoption has already happened, or yet the sector is expected to go along with the wave, the industry 4.0. I would say now in manufacturing we are moving ahead towards industry 5.0. So, what's the kind of level that according to you, what's your perspective of the adoption?
I think the adoption logistics has been slow in tech adoption, but now it's probably amongst the fastest. Right? Maybe at some 20 years ago we used to say, "Oh, banking is so advanced." The the BFSI is where all the tech money is going in, but things have changed. Tech adoption in logistics is very high now, and I think it's only a matter of time when everybody will start to look at it if those who have not started doing it in a significant way. And like I said, the adoption is the technology is being used to integrate ecosystems, to bring in different partners together so that a seamless service is being able to, companies can provide a seamless, unified support and service to the customers. It is being used for, technology is being used for scale. So we are talking about cloudification. We're talking about APIification, like I said, the integration, and of course the speed. So it's adoption is there, and I think the adoption is very fast now. It's not where it's not at the end state. There's a room to go. There's a room to grow. But I think we'll be in the logistics space will be as good as any other industry in terms of tech consumption very soon. If we are, we are already talking about blockchain. We're looking at bots and cobots and robots and all kinds of things in terms of automation, augmented and virtual reality. These are no more things of the past. They are being used in logistics, right? Cold chain is using a lot of IoT. So I don't think we are far behind. Warehouse management has done a lot, so adoption is high and it's going to grow. And I don't think it's slow. It's at a very fast pace.
Sure. So I am going to definitely ask you your initiatives around these technologies going forward. But first, I would like to know that how crucial is the role of data management in driving innovations and improving customer experience, especially in the logistics sector. So what's your perspective?
So, like I said, today data is important and it has always been important. We jokingly say that we don't move cargo, we move data, right? So yeah, so it's data management is absolutely critical for survival, for thriving, and I've already given you some of the reasons, right? It provides end-to-end visibility. It provides the timeliness of delivery, traceability. Provide with data, we are able to provide a single window service to our customers. So we could be plugging in at the back end a lot of different service providers, but to the customer, to the end user, you'll have a single pane to see everything. So just take an example of when you do an online purchase with Amazon. You don't really need to know who's the supplier at the back end. You don't really need to know which 3PL or 4PL warehouse is being used for storing that. You don't know, you don't need to know who's the last mile guy who's going to deliver even to your apartment. There's so many things which are integrated at the back end, right? Which ultimately gives one seamless, unified, transparent experience to the consumer. I think that's where the role of that's how the role of how important the role of data management is in the logistics space. The speed to quote and the speed to delivery, and these are the two favorite examples that I'll always give. We use analytics for everything, for decision making, for insightful decision making, right? So, and for proactive decision making, and all of this is driving through a culture of innovation. Ultimate goal being how do we improve customer experience at a much more optimized uh, and more efficient internal organization. So we obviously want to reduce our cost and we want to provide better service. So all that is only possible, and that's how data management is being used. That's the role of data management in today's logistics space. And I want to take a step forward saying not just logistics space, in any service industry. That's how important data is today.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with you. So it's not just now about digital business transformation. Now it is all about the digitalized business models. Like we have been giving the examples of Amazon and all. So it's all about the technology in the back end, and the customer has to do nothing with that. All those things. So what are the crucial elements, according to you, to win a data management and analytics practice to transform structured and unstructured data from different sources into a trusted, unified view? So now, like more about the technical part of it.
See, I'll probably take a step back. Let me talk about the steps that are involved, right from various sources of data. You can have data in, like I said, in your front office executive has data, your systems where your customers are logging in, you have data there. Your warehouse has data. Your trucking systems have data. I'm obviously using logistics as the base. So all the transport management systems that we use and all the connected ecosystem applications, all of them have data, right? So the first and foremost task is to how do you bring all the data together? So we use a technology term called ETL, extract, transform, load, bring it into a usable shape and form on a data warehouse or a data lake, and then use that data lake to provide you that single version of truth, and then report out from there. Create your dashboards, create your MIS, create and use that for analysis, use that for predictive analytics, for decision making. Run AI ML algorithms on top of that, so that you can even on what is obvious to the eye. Right? You can enhance your revenues, you can create new business models, you can reduce costs through optimization, through a very simple example, how do we optimize our containers? How do we optimize our trade lanes? How do we optimize the routes? If you look at the last mile example, how do you optimize the delivery boy? He has to deliver 5 packets to 5 different addresses, right? All that is about optimization. So all that is data driven. And this is how you can use. Again, within these steps, the key elements to my mind are very two important ones. One is how do you make sure your data is always clean? So data cleansing is very important. And the second, which is kind of a subset of, or the superset, is how do you manage the data? How is the data governance handled? Right? And that includes your master data, your data cleansing, your ETL processes. So this whole thing about data governance, so that your data is always refreshed, it's always ready, it's always latest. You can't say that I'm going to act on data which is like 15 days old. You need real time actions. You need decisions that are going to be based on real time data collection. And data can be structured, unstructured, a lot of things. So all these are the key elements of a good data management system. How do you manage unstructured and structured data so that you can use it to run your business more efficiently, to drive better customer experience, and so on. So that's maybe a long answer to a short question.
No, absolutely. So, I think the challenges that you have spoken about, and also, the great elements that you have highlighted. So, what are the best practices you would suggest to utilize data analytics in driving innovations and customer experience?
I think I've already touched upon a few. To have a good governance in place is very important, and
Yeah.
that is another important aspect. Maybe I should talk about is getting the right data architecture in place.
Yeah.
Right? Because you need to have a good way of ingesting the data and using the data. The data has to be secure. Security is a big concern these days. So how do you make sure that the security is in place? You're adhering to all the GDPR and the PII and all the privacy rules and applications and laws. Right? So we are dealing with financial data. How do you ensure it? Simple things like credit card, and this is nothing new. It's been an age-old practice, but you have to handle it. You have to handle the security around it. So that is the first part, the single version of truth. The second one is how do you use one of the best practices I talk about is AI and ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning. How do you run those algorithms to provide you the best possible uh, actions that you need to take, the decisions that you have to take? And so there are a lot of examples of where it can be used, but I think the best practices is what I talked about, and the use cases are many. So, yes.
Yeah, sure, sure. So now, I would like to know from you the initiatives that you have taken around technologies like data analytics and automation inside your organization to deliver those personalized services and faster deliveries and a proactive approach.
Yeah. So this Kalpana has been an ongoing journey. It's not something that I'll say that okay, we have done and dusted and it's closed. It's a continuous process of implementation, of innovation, of re-energizing the company, the employees, and the system, so that it comes out, it gives a better outcome for everyone. Right. So I think we have a lot of ambitions for growth, and if you hear some of our chairman, vice chairman, and joint managing directors speak, they've been on the public forum. There's a lot of ambition that we have, right? And we have been doing fairly well, but we are not satisfied. Obviously, we want to do better and more, and we have aggressive growth targets. So I think we some of the initiatives that we can talk about is how do we look at we have a great transport management system today. We're thinking of how do we even leverage further, use technology. Um, Include some of the best in class practices and modernize that even further to the extent possible. How do we integrate across different systems using the API, which I said earlier, right? So, for example, we don't have to build everything in house. We can even leverage on what best cost solutions are available in the market. So, for whether be it for, let's say, for tariff management, for track and trace, for sailing schedules in our ocean liners, right? A lot of these systems are already there, and we can actually use them, integrate with them, and provide a much more holistic and a faster service. There's a lot that we are doing on the warehouse side, the management of warehouses, right from optimizing the location of where the whole gate in and gate out process, optimizing the yard management, um, and of course the last mile routing and the last mile delivery. So since we are also in the express logistics business, all of these things are very important. So I'm giving you some examples. There are examples below which touch upon financials, which touch upon operations, and it also talks about how do we improve the customer experience. So many things, many initiatives, right, could be would provide more power to our sales team. So and you have a mobile app, so they are more empowered. This is all digitally data driven, so that they can provide better service to the customers. They can increase their even the revenue targets that we have given to our sales people is more because of the tools now it's a lot easier for them to go to a customer and do provide our services, sell our services. So many use cases, and like I said, it's a continuous journey, and I don't think we'll be ever satisfied. Even once we are done with this, there'll be more innovation, there'll be new tech available, there'll be more customer expectations. So it's an ongoing journey, and we'll continue to work on it. So I'm very happy that I'm in an organization which actually has a lot of focus in driving these initiatives to improve our overall service delivery and customer experience.
Yeah, sure, sure. So, what is your technology? So, what according to you, I mean, is there something happening within your organization also? What kind of emphasis has been given on sustainability for coming years?
I think this is a very important subject. Our company is extremely kind of aware and deeply involved in the ESG practice. And I'm not leading it. I'm not driving them, but there are my colleagues who are working very close, deeply with this. But from a tech perspective, a lot of things are there. First of all, the platform itself is tech enabled. Second, so we are trying to automate a lot of things. We want to measure what we are doing. For example, in sustainability or environment, we want to know how much of carbon emission is there, or how much of so every transport route that we do, right, from A to B, we move cargo from A to B. We would like to measure the uh, carbon emission. Yeah. and see whether they are as per industry standards or the regulations and guidelines, and see how we can improve on that. So I think, and I, it's a very vast topic, to be honest. I don't think I can do justice to it by saying one or two sentences. The important thing is it's very important. It's we in logistics, and especially in my company, we take it very seriously. We've been given guidelines. We've all been trained on the ESG program. We've been certified. So all senior management and middle management, as far as I can tell, are aware of what is expected out of them. And now there is a kind of a committee which is driving this whole initiative, which touches every aspect of the business, including people behavior, organization structures. Because it's a vast subject. So you talked about sustainability, but I'm giving you a bigger, the ESG view.
Yeah. So it's an umbrella, and maybe like in other organizations, it is IT who is also driving sustainability, but out here it's been taken care separately with a separate committee been appointed.
IT is part of it. IT is definitely a part of it, because there will be two reasons why IT has to be. One, the platform itself is IT driven, right? It's an IT solution at the end of the day, where we'll get all the data, we'll do all the analysis, we'll do all the reporting, right? So that's an IT tool. And how do we get data from disparate systems, from different companies, different tools, right? That is one part of the IT, where IT gets involved in providing a ESG solution. The second is, how is IT responsible for environment? Right. So, for example, we'll be asked, how much power are we consuming in our data centers, or how much power, right? How do we handle e-waste, right? So, how do we dispose our old computers or bad old hardware which we are not using, right? So so all of that. So IT will be involved in many ways, and so it's a much larger initiative. What I'm trying to say, it's not just an IT. It's a much larger.
So what do you suggest? Like, when we say e-waste, that's something very important. So our audience would definitely like to hear more around it. So what exactly practices you are following in your organization when it comes to e-waste management?
I think first of all, you need to have a good asset inventory. What is it that you're doing with your electronic or hardware, right? And how do you, once they are end of life, they are no more being used, right? You have to dispose them, right? So how do you make sure that you dispose it in an environment friendly manner? We don't have the expertise in-house to do it, so we have to hire agencies or organizations which help us do that. But making sure that all our machines, for example, if I'm talking about old laptops or old servers or desktops, making sure that they are giving, after the data has been removed or cleansed or degaussed or deleted, because we don't obviously want the data to go away. Or if the data is important and it is copied and stored somewhere, archived. So we do the data bit, and then we give it to these organizations to then handle it, and then they dispose it based on the government guidelines and regulations, right? So that's how. So tracking it, making sure it is done, and making sure that you get the report that it is all complete and certified. So these agencies have to certify, and we in turn then certify to our management that yes, we have taken care of the e-waste in a most appropriate manner.
So thank you so much, Ashish, for sharing great insights, and I'm sure our the audience finds it interesting too, with a lot of takeaways. It was a complete pleasure interacting with you.
Thank you so much, Kalpana. Great to speak with you, and I hope I've been able to share my views very candidly, and I hope the audience enjoy listening to us. Thank you so much.
Thanks. With this, I want to thank everyone for joining us. To watch more such interesting videos, please log on to www.cxotv.news, and please stay tuned to our social media channels and stay safe. Take care.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.